What is going on, guys? Advantage Sports Talk. Now, we are talking about UFC 295, the Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic fight that is now, they had to pull that fight out. Jones had to pull out. He injured his pectoral tendon, and now he needs surgery. And the information I'm reading says that he's out for 8 months. Now, rather not, are they saying this fight is off for 8 months, or is he out for 8 months? Because this fight could be close to a year away, if not a year away from actually happening, if he is out for 8 months. Now, there's a lot to talk about here. What is the UFC going to do now? Are they going to create an interim championship situation where Stipe fights another fighter? What are they going to do? I haven't seen any information on that. I'm sure they're not going to make a decision on that right now. And even if they are, they're not going to announce it yet because they probably don't know who he's fighting against. I don't even know who's ranked high enough in the heavyweight division who doesn't have a fight already upcoming. So I can't even give you any ideas on who he would even fight. I have no idea. But I think this gives the edge to Stipe if they do have this fight later in the future. And I'm going to get into why I believe that is. But as you can see on this channel, I have a video predicting Jon Jones winning this fight. Well, now that's different because the fight is now months or possibly a year away now. We don't know the time frame. This could be a year away. And if they book Stipe Miocic in an interim championship situation and he doesn't win, this dream fight is off. It is off. And then Jon Jones would probably come back and fight a different guy, whoever it is that would beat Stipe, and that fight would not carry the value that this one has. It wouldn't carry the value. It would have a lot of value naturally because it's Jon Jones. His fights carry value, but I honestly think this fight is ruined. I think it's messed up. And for me, I feel like this was the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history. I feel like it was. You have Jon Jones, who nobody has more title defenses than he does. Now, it's not necessarily in the heavyweight division, but he defended that light heavyweight belt what seemed like an eternity. I mean, he would get injured, get suspended a couple times, come back, get the belt back, come back, get the belt back. I mean, it was just, and then he had a couple of close fights, and then he left the light heavyweight division and fought Cyril Gain. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And that was a one-sided mauling. I mean, he destroyed him. And he ended up with the UFC championship title. But my question is this. What do they do from here? Are they going to just hold the belt off until he comes back? I don't think they would do that because the UFC doesn't do that. I've never seen them do that for this kind of time frame. I've seen them do that for 4 or 5 months if somebody's injured and it's a minor injury and they have to. But for this long, I think they're going to create an interim championship situation and put him up against somebody. But again, I think that takes the edge away from Jon Jones because he would have to get back in fight shape after the surgery. After he has the surgery, then heals from the surgery, then jumps back into a training camp while Stipe is active. Now, if Stipe fights another guy and has an easy night where he KOs somebody pretty early or just has a fight where he doesn't take much damage, he's going to have a huge edge over Jon Jones because here you have a guy that never really stayed active, and then fought a guy who had a surgery, had to heal enough to even go to a training camp, then went to a training camp, then got back into a fight after going close to 2 years without fighting at all. That's what Jon Jones would be up against. So I think this puts Jon Jones as the underdog, and that's assuming that the scenario that I just put out there happens. Let's say they book Stipe against somebody else, and that fight happens, let's say 2 months from now. And he wins on an easy night, and then he stays active, and Jon Jones has to heal from his surgery and then re-enter the training camp after being inactive. that takes the edge significantly off of Jon Jones. Now, another thing I want to talk about is retirement. I believe this is Stipe's last fight regardless, and I'm talking about the Jon Jones fight. I believe that's it for him, and I think that could be it for Jon Jones. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think if these two fight 8 months to a year from now, I think that's it for both of them. Stipe will be around 42 years old when this fight happens, and Jon Jones has already talked about ending his career pretty soon. Okay, now after this injury and getting surgery and getting back in there, I don't know that he would want to continue and keep fighting and fighting, because he has already hinted at his career being close to over, being close to the end. He's already said this. He didn't say this is my last fight or I'm only going to defend it one more time. He didn't say anything like that, but he did hint that his career was close to over, and he was. So I think both of them, if they do have this fight 8 months to a year from now, I think that's it for both of them. I really do. I think this is going to be a retirement fight. And I don't think that would be the case if the fight would have happened November 11th. I think both of them would have probably had a rematch after this, and then probably after that, possibly in their careers. But now I see this as a one-fight deal. I thought it'd be a two-fight deal. That was before the fight was off. Not saying that there was a rematch clause in the contract. There's nothing like that. I'm saying I figured that they would probably book this fight twice. It would depend on how the fight went, of course. Right now, they would actually have a rematch. But what's your opinion on this? Do you think that the edge is now on Stipe? Is the edge? Do you think this fight will even happen? That's another possibility. This fight may never even happen. That's a possibility. Now, I'm sure, obviously, that's not the thought you want to have. That's not the energy or word you want to put out there. I'm saying it's definitely a possibility. Anytime you put a fight off that far, that's always going to be a possibility. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I think they're going to have the fight. But if Stipe fights somebody else and loses, the most valuable heavyweight fight that they've in UFC history is now gone. And that would be extremely unfortunate. That's another question. Does the UFC want to risk that? Put Stipe in a fight where some fluke crazy thing happens and he loses or he gets injured in that fight. And then Jon Jones comes back and Stipe has an injury from that fight. And then Jon Jones has to fight somebody else. And then, this fight just doesn't happen. Then the value is lost. So I think this fight it's messed up, either way you look at it, because anytime you push a fight back that far, it kind of ruins the fight to some degree. But it's not completely ruined. You can still have a good showing, have a good fight. But yeah, what's your opinion? Do you agree, disagree with me? What do you think's going to happen? Comment, let me know what you think about this situation. And I'm going to do more videos on this issue. I'm going to do more UFC videos on other fighters. I'm going to be doing other sports, NFL, NBA, probably even some baseball, some boxing. We are really going to start doing more videos for this channel. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of prediction videos on NBA, NFL, boxing. We're going to be doing a lot on this channel. I haven't been super active, but now we're getting ready to get active and start putting a lot more content out there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.